And so they take him into ICU, and then we get pulled into a room with a neural doc. And he said, I'm going to tell you what. He said, I don't know if you people understand this or not, but this is pretty serious. Your son's going to be lucky to make it through the night. And I said, well, we're not sitting in our living room, and we're not sitting here eating popcorn, watching a TV show. I said, my wife works at a medical clinic, so we kind of have an idea that it's pretty serious. He said, well, here's what I'm going to tell you. He said, if he makes it through the first night, you're going to want to forget that kid was ever born. And he said, you're going to want to find a nursing facility, start searching out nursing facilities, because he's going to be stuck in a nursing facility for the rest of his life. And I kind of looked at him and said, that's the best delivery you got, right? That's how you're going to give this to us in that form. And I've had other people say, well, they got to be blunt. But no, I don't think you have to be. I don't think you have to be that blunt. I don't think you have to be that nasty about it. And so, Travis was on life support. And so it ended up that, we was in ICU for 2 weeks. And the same doctor could, every time I'd go in of a morning, this guy was a cusser, a screamer, and he'd have all the nurses just crying every morning. And just an awful person. And so the very first night we're there, there's a gentleman that had come in the door next to us, and he had 4 daughters. And this guy across the river had a stroke, but en route coming over, he had an aneurysm and went cold. And so this same doctor walks in and goes into this other room, and he starts cussing these girls. He said, I don't know what the hell's your guys' problem. He said, until you guys get your shit together, he said, I'll come back and talk to you, but I ain't coming to talk to you. And my wife's like, who was that? I said, that's our doctor. That's what we're dealing with. So anyway, 2 weeks later, could not get this guy to stop and talk to us. So he come out of the side, he always come out of the side door of the ICU. So I yelled at him. I said, Doc, can you give us an update? And so I go, he yells at me down the hall, and he said, I don't know what the hell you people want from me. He said, I told you when you got here, your son never be worth anything. And he said, I've done all I can do. And my mom was there, and I put my hand, and she started to come up, and I said, Mom, I've got this. I got this. So I go down there, and I told him, I said, Doc, I said, there's one thing about your comment you made that's absolutely correct. He said, what's that? The part where you said that you've done all you can do. He said, what's that mean? I said, what that means is you're fired. I said, you've done nothing for my son since you've been here. I said, you've made no attempt to move him forward whatsoever. So I said, we're going to get another neural doc.